Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles. And I was going through my replays today when this one kind of leaped out, smacked me around the head and shoulders and demanded my attention. And hopefully, when you've seen how this battle plays out, you'll understand why. This is Junata in the Death Star, the FV215B 183 British Tier 10 tank destroyer. The one that isn't the shit barn. I know the shit barn isn't as shit as it used to be. Sorry, we're talking about the FE4005 here, just in case it wasn't obvious for those of you who perhaps don't play a lot of World of Tanks. They called it the shit barn because it kind of looked like a barn and it was shit. And it's been buffed and it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. In fact, it's not bad at all, but, well, the name's stuck. And so the shit barn, it forever will be. But this is not the shit barn, this is the Death Star. And the Death Star has never been shit. Although when it was first introduced into the game, it only carried 12 rounds of ammunition, which meant you could only kill 12 tanks. Why is that a problem? Have you played much World of Tanks? Sometimes the teams you get require you to be able to kill all 15 of the enemy team by yourself, and if you only carry 12 rounds of ammunition, despite the colossal amount of damage this machine can do, that's just not going to be enough. Why is there a knocked out Panzer on the Mannerheim Line? Incidentally, for those of you who weren't aware, oh hang on a second, spotted instantly. 212A artillery takes a shot at him. That 212A artillery is going to be doing a lot of that through the course of this game. I don't think he ever fired a shot at anybody else throughout the course of this match, which is good because it means he never killed anybody. Yeah. But yes, this map. The map formerly known as Arctic, although it was always known in the game files as the Mannerheim Line map. Wow. Okay. You see, this would have been a critical problem, and there's the artillery again, yep. Well, he is a top tier tank destroyer, I suppose, so, you know, it's fair enough. None of which, of course, makes it any less annoying when they keep doing it over and over and over and over. And over. And plenty more where that one came from. But that shot that he took at the Lerva at the far end of the road over there that just kind of whiffed away into absolutely nowhere. No idea what happened to that shot. And when this machine was first introduced into the game, that would have been a serious blow to morale. Because now you would have only had 11 shots left, and if your team weren't capable of killing at least 4 enemy tanks between the 14 of them, then you'd be losing this game. Check out the M4A1 Ravioli over there. Now that may have looked like he was just aimlessly driving backwards and forwards across the middle of an open road in front of a whole bunch of enemy guns, but what actually had happened there was he'd been driving up the middle of the open road, got shot at, and then rather than ducking into the rock that was beside him, decided to turn around in the middle of the open road and then drive away with his back facing towards all of those enemy tanks that were shooting at him. Okay, yeah, that's actually just as bad. Oh, no, missed your chance. Oh, hang on a second. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Progetto. Don't mind if we do. He's finally opened his scorecard. And he is, of course, ducked in behind the rocks over here, so presumably the enemy 212A is holding his fire and biding his time. Note the T-95 in the shell crater behind him. We're going to be seeing more of him in a moment, but for now, opportunity to get a second victim. There's another Progetto. Seen a lot of these lately for some strange reason. I wonder why. Well, there's 2 less. So, yes, his team are down 6 tanks, and he is the only person on his team to have killed anything so far. Not an altogether unusual situation, I'm sure you'll agree. What is going on with that T-95? Don't worry, we're going to come to him in a moment. First, another enemy Tier 10 tank destroyer. T-110E3 this time. And there's the hit from the 212A. It was only a matter of time. E3 disappears, but he hasn't gone far, and there's a very nasty dose of surprise butt sex for an enemy Tier 10 tank destroyer. Now, what exactly is going on with that T-95? Because he's just sitting, he hasn't moved, in that shell crater. So he's driven up to this shell crater and he's thinking, haha, my lower glacis is covered up, you cannot hurt me now, and enemy artillery, and those 2 tanks over there are just lobbing shells, high explosive shells, into his commander's hatch. So, what's a Tier 10 tank destroyer to do? Well, first you come out and you kill the Chrysler, and then you block the line of fire between the AMX-30 and the T-95, taken hits for him to give him a chance to get out of there, and then just in case it wasn't completely obvious what you were doing, you ping the T-95 and tell him to fall back. But the T-95 is not going to fall back, because the T-95 has rage quit. Now, before you all start creaming your knickers in the comments, I do not know for a fact that the T-95 has rage quit, and yes, I suppose it is possible that he has just disconnected. I'm basing my conclusions on the available evidence and years of experience of playing World of Tanks and seeing people in exactly that kind of situation throw all of their toys out of the pram in a temper tantrum when they realise that their cunning plan wasn't quite as cunning as they may have been led to believe. The only difference here is the T-95 isn't still present in chat telling everybody else on the team how much they suck while he's doing nothing in the shell crater. None of which, of course, is the slightest bit of consolation to Junasa here, who's just taken hits for this guy to allow him to withdraw, but he's not withdrawing. He is, however, at least some use to the team alive, even if he's not at the keyboard, because he's occupying the attention of that T-10 there, who does not yet realise, probably, that the T-95's AFK. The T-10 has slightly overextended, however, because Junasa is not alone here. He does the sensible thing, secures the kill on the T-95, and then takes a swift trip to the workshop repair facility as the IS-3 and IS-7 come back around the corner. Unfortunately, the IS-3 didn't see it happening, it happened off camera, gets taken out by the enemy Batchat 155 artillery, which means that there are now just 3 tanks remaining. Junasa in the Death Star, with the Schutzwagen E-100 over there, and the IS-7 who's just ducked into the rocks to get a little bit of relief from artillery. Now, Junasa took a hit from the Lerva. He's over in that direction somewhere threatening the artillery, and it's kind of ironic that it was the only gold ammo that's actually been fired at Junasa so far this game, and I think it's the only shot fired at Junasa that hasn't actually penetrated or done damage. And there's the Lerva. And he does spot Junasa, but too late to do anything about it. Junasa, of course, immediately starts moving because the 212A is still in play. Manoeuvres, is forced to stop and back up so he doesn't run into the IS-7, and wouldn't you know it, guess who's waiting? Yep, the 212A once again. Pretty sure the Batchat 155-58 just fired, but well, he's an autoloader. There could be another shot coming, but he shouldn't be spotted anymore. And he's gotten away with it. Right. So it's 3 against 4. They've got a WZ-111-1 fake tank and a Jagdtiger, but they also have 2 artillery. Now, it's normal when you're outnumbered like this, in the final stages of the game, for your team to stick together so they can mutually support each other and maximise their firepower against one target at a time. Well, I say it's normal. It's far from normal. It's very, very unnormal. It's the sensible thing to do, so of course you hardly ever see it happen. But under these circumstances, when you're in a slow, relatively thinly armoured tank destroyer with only 400 health remaining and can be one-shotted by everything else on the enemy team, Junasa can't really effectively support the IS-7 by trying to follow him around the map border. As it happens, the IS-7 just ran into the enemy Batchat 155-58, so he didn't need any help, and that's evened the scores slightly. It's now 3 versus 3. Junasa is running some kind of mod, by the way, you may have noticed in chat. He knows exactly how much health. Well, he doesn't know exactly how much health the Jagdtiger and the WZ-111-1 still have remaining, but he knows how much health they had when they were last spotted. And that's not good news, because while the WZ-111-1 fake tank only has 700 health remaining, the Jagdtiger has well over 1,000. So, how to best support that IS-7 under these circumstances, because you're not going to keep up with him, he's not waiting. Well, looking at the way he's moving around the map, if Junasa was to position himself, oh, I don't know, here for example, he'd have the opportunity to take shots at the likely positions where those 2 enemy tank destroyers are going to be, should they be spotted by the IS-7. As it happens, the IS-7 does not actually spot the Jagdtiger. Junasa does. And we have a bit of a good news, bad news situation here. Bad news, he didn't one-shot kill the Jagdtiger, which would have been entirely within his capabilities if he'd hit him in the side of his casement. But he did do a fair amount of damage, which was followed up, I think, by an artillery hit. So the Jagdtiger is now... I'm not entirely sure how much health he has. Janassa probably knows because he's running a mod. But he may now be a one-shot kill for the IS-7. If the WZ-111-1 still has 700 health remaining, he's not going to be a one-shot kill for the IS-7. To get support from the rest of the team, the IS-7 needs to be coming down this way, if you look at the map. But he's not. He's going around. And if he goes around to the north of that big rock where those two enemy tank destroyers are likely to be lurking, that means artillery can't support him, and Janassa can't support him either. And recognising this, Janassa is on the move. And sure enough, there are the two surviving enemy tank destroyers. There's a brief exchange of fire gone on there, and that's exactly the right position under these circumstances for those two tank destroyers to be. They're safe from artillery fire, and they don't know it, but they're also safe from getting shot at by Janassa. Now the IS-7 put a shot into the Jagdtiger. Didn't kill him, but now the Jagdtiger is definitely a one-shot kill for the IS-7. The WZ-111 still has 600 health remaining-ish, and cannot be one-shot killed by the IS-7 unless he ammo racks him. So those two guys are looking at each other now, and the Jagdtiger is saying to the WZ-111, "Go on then." And to his credit, the WZ-111 driver does go for it. And there's an exchange of fire there. The WZ-111 is now a one-shot kill, and the Jagdtiger fails to capitalise on the opportunity given to him by his teammate. He doesn't rush the IS-7. Meanwhile, Janassa is in chat begging his team to let him have one more kill. He obviously wants the Radley Walters medal. Now, the team is under no obligation whatsoever to give him that kill. It's an epic achievement. You should earn it rather than have it given to you on a plate. But it certainly doesn't hurt to ask. You never know. I've certainly seen it happen where the team are very happy to let you take that one extra last kill. The WZ-111-1 has just realised the crap that he's in, doesn't waste time trying to turn around because it wouldn't make any difference when you're getting shot at with this gun, tries to drive forward, gets himself stuck on the dragon's teeth. And there's Janassa's 8th kill for the Radley Walters medal, and the IS-7 finishes off the Jagdtiger and claims his 4th kill into the bargain. But hang on a second. Where's the 212A? What happened to him? Well, you may not have noticed it at the time because there were other things going on, but while this was happening, that happened. And I don't know about you lot, but I think that's hilarious. Because I'm an evil old gnome who takes joy in other people's misfortunes. So, Ace Tanker, Radley Walters medal, high caliber, tank sniper, and Top Gun for Janassa with his 7,915 damage done, was it? Actually, no. Remember the blind fire shot against the T110E3? That's actually 10,211 damage done in the Death Star here on the Mannerheim map. Oh, that reminds me. I got sidetracked. I was talking about the name of this map at the beginning of the video. It used to be known as the Arctic map, even though the name of the map was always Mannerheim Line in the game files. And I remarked at the beginning of the game, why is there a knocked out Panzer IV here on the Mannerheim Line? The reason I said that is because the Mannerheim Line is actually in Finland, and it was a defensive line established by the Finns to defend against the Russians. So that's kind of weird. But it's not quite as weird as the historical truth behind the construction of the Mannerheim Line, upon which this World of Tanks map is based, because these fortifications were constructed to the design and specifications of the famous Finnish Field Marshal Baron Carl Gustav Emil Mannerheim. That sounds suspiciously German. Don't worry, it's not. He's actually Swedish. And in fact, he's the guy that the Swedes named the Carl Gustav rocket launcher after. So we have a map in World of Tanks named the Mannerheim Line, featuring knocked out German tanks that never fought anywhere within 1,000 miles of the Mannerheim Line, constructed by a Finnish Field Marshal with a German name who was actually from Sweden. History's a funny old thing when you start digging into it. But none of that's important. What matters is that you enjoyed today's game, courtesy of Janassa in the Death Star, the FV215B183. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.